There is something about as a modern man today, right? We are being coddled when we are young. All of a sudden, we grow up to realize that we still have all of these responsibilities on our shoulders. And guess what? Nobody told you anything, right? So we're being raised side by side with women. We're being raised to be like girls. We're being raised to be feminine. But guess what? The moment you are a man, you have a penis, you grow up to a certain age, guess what? The entire world expects you to perform. The entire world expects you to put your pain, emotions aside and deliver. So basically, in this video, I'll be telling you that the save yourself mentality would actually save you. Well, yesterday we spoke about obsession, but today, kind of figured that I was talking to one of my, I'll say friends recently, and then he was talking about how he feels very helpless. I'm like, brother, he's talking about how he feels helpless about getting women, he's not tall, he's giving excuses, and I was like, brother, you do realize that there is no amount of complaint you can make over this phone call. Mind you, I have this call, so there's no amount of complaint you can make on this phone call, right, that will change anything. I'm your brother, right, as in brother to brother. I mean, I can only motivate you to an extent, but guess what? You have to save yourself. So I figured that it's a very perfect topic to talk about today. So why do we struggle today with that idea of save yourself? Think about it. Why are you struggling with the idea of save yourself? One is the way we were brought up. Like I said initially, we are raising young boys, very young women of 10, 13, 14. We are raising them like women. But guess what? And that's the same way you were most likely raised if you're, according to my statistics, you were raised side by side with girls. So in your mind, you're thinking like women. So let me relate it back to something. There's a period in my life where I was studying agriculture, and there's a way they raise chickens or turkey, the kids of turkeys. So when turkeys give birth, they have a chance of killing their offspring. So what they do is they will take the little turkey kids, whatever they call them, and will give them to chickens to raise. But guess what? At some point, the little turkeys will begin to behave like chickens until the chickens realize that something is not right somewhere based on the growth. But the point is, that behavior of that, the way we're being raised as little boys, guess what? Makes us to feel weak, makes us to feel like, you know what, the world will coddle us. But guess what? Life will always protect women. But you as a man, you are always disposable. That is something they may never have told you because that's the harsh truth. As men, we are always disposable. So if you think about it, right, that's one issue, one, our upbringing. Another issue I think I have seen that is obvious is this amount of victimhood we are now praising. For years, we have been praising victims. So guess what? We have been having more victims. I'll tell you for a fact that I don't know where all this bullshit came from, but maybe sometimes it may have been with good intentions, but the idea of always going for the victims, because guess what? The more you go for victims, the more victims you create. It sounds like it's good intention, but it's fucking shit up in the long run. There was a research done recently, and it gave me a glimpse into parenting. So I like to look at things like parenting because I want to be a parent someday, and I encourage guys to become parents. So it says this. It basically explained why children these days are growing to be much more depressed and anxious. It said this, that whenever you ask a child, how are you? And child says fine. Guess what we do? We like continue move on with life, continue what we're doing. But if a child says, I'm not feeling fine, guess what? We begin to give that child too much attention. So guess what? If the child wants attention, he now knows that by not feeling fine, somebody will come and save you. And that's probably another way you were brought up. And that problem with this idea that we have today is the fact that because of how much we have created this victimhood, this victim mentality, there's a high chance that you believe that you are genetically exposed to certain illnesses. I can't remember, it blows my mind the way people actually think that they are going to have certain illnesses simply because their father had them. They tell you you have these certain genes, and guess what? Because you have these genes, you're going to have this kind of illness. But guys, brother, think about it. I always ask medical doctors, if my father and my grandfather had genes, guess what? Had diabetes, does it mean I'm going to have diabetes if I control my sugar intake? The answer is almost always no. What that tells you is your behavior is more important than your genes. You will not have those illnesses your father or your your family had, if you change your lifestyle, if you change your behaviors. They don't tell you this because this thing I just said, it puts power in your hands. It put power in your hands. I'm meant to tell you that truly in this life, doctors cannot save you. Their only job is to sell you medicine. Literally speaking, doctors, the only job doctors have, they're basically expert salesmen. Expert salesmen to the point where if you give an idiot a white coat and he basically prescribes a drug, a placebo drug, there's a high chance you'll be healed based on science, be proven fact. So another thing I've seen about you and this idea that no one's coming to save you is you might tell yourself, oh, I'm not so rich, I didn't grow up in a rich home, so guess what? Nobody might save me. Let me tell you for a fact. I grew up with rich kids. I grew up in a very comfortable home. I'll tell you something that those guys too, they don't get saved. I mean, their fathers can put them in positions, but guess what? They still have to get the job done. And for the kids who never get the job done, who are never fit in that position, guess what? They wreck businesses. I have seen too many friends wreck the family business. And again, it happens based on research. People who have inheritance, they lose it simply because they can't handle it. Let's imagine somebody is to save you now. Imagine if I was to help you talk to a girl, and then I give you this girl. There's a high chance you will ruin the relationship. If you're not to handle that relationship, if you're not the right fit for that girl, you're going to ruin the entire relationship. So who would you blame? I'm basically here telling you that, see, in this life, nobody is coming to save you. The best is you can have brothers who walk side by side to you, but guess what? Nobody's ever going to save you. So I think I have a couple of tips for you on how you can begin to save yourself. Basically, begin to put your life in your own hands. And by the way, if you like what you're hearing in this video, I want you to share with somebody who has that victim mentality, because it pains me when I see men who are grown, who are coming of age, who still think somebody's coming to save them. Even your rich father can't save you. I know this because in my story, I grew up with a considerable amount of comfort. So I don't want to feel like when you feel like, you know what, life is easy for you. No, life is not easy for you. Even if you have people doing things for you, you grew up with a comfortable father, you still have to get the job done. You can pay someone. I've had friends who paid people to write exams for them. But guess what? They cannot back it up. I'll tell you, as a man, you should always have the mentality of being able to back up your results. So people write exams for them, right? But guess what? They just cannot back it up. Simply because they don't have the knowledge in them. It's the same thing I tell you that aim to become a man of substance. I'm not here to bullshit you. That's why all of my advice, you never hear an advice from me that tells you to focus on just looks. I would always tell you to become the person, not pretend or look like the person, right? So what can you do? Actually, what are the most practical steps? One, begin to take complete responsibility of your problems. I have a book there, I think by Jocko Willink, and that title keeps getting my head every single time. It says extreme ownership. What that means is take extreme ownership of your life. And by the way, if you really listen to all of these all these David Goggins, all these guys, all these Navy SEAL guys, you basically hear how they take as much responsibilities for themselves. What that means is you take responsibilities for the things that you do and for the things that happen to you, right? So something crazy will happen when you make that choice, because that mindset of somebody disrespected me, right? I'll take responsibility for that. What that mindset does for you is that it allows you to think about what can you do within your control to make sure that disrespect never happens again. This is where you begin to experience proper magic in your life. This is where you begin to feel like, you know what, I can begin to level up in this life. Again, things will happen to you that are out of your control. But guess what? You can always do something to prevent it from happening. And a typical example for disrespect is, if you disrespect me, I don't insult you, I don't disrespect you back, I simply walk away. That is why I tell you, as a man, one of your most attractive traits is your ability to walk away. You must have heard every single person talk about this. Again, one thing I'll help you here is avoid people who play that victim card. Avoid people who are miserable. Because people who are miserable, guess what? They would always remind you about areas in your life that you have no control about. And the irony is, each time you try to make it make sense to them that you can help yourself this way, they keep telling you no. They'll keep struggling with you, making you believe that you are helpless. And guess what? at some point, if you keep listening to them, you will become helpless, right? And another thing you can do to begin to save yourself is gamify everything. When I say gamify everything, I came up with this concept. No, I came up with this concept recently. It just flashed into my head as a vision. And it says that if you're having problem with something, like any area of your life, gamify it. Because when it becomes a game, guess what? It means that when it becomes a game, one, you begin to know what the rules are. Two, you begin to know how to level up in that game. That mindset completely shook me. That was why I made the video of, if you're struggling to talk to girls, watch that video. It has been a complete game changer ever since. So how did it work? Basically, I'll say, in any area of your life, if you can gamify the problem, then guess what? Know the rules and know how to level up. That mindset has completely changed my life. For different people, it's different strokes, right? Because that is your card for winning. The dating scene, how can you gamify the dating scene, right? How can you gamify maybe your health? How can you gamify your goals? But the whole point is that this approach may not work for everybody, right? But at some point, it does serve some people. And three is, hang around people, right? If you feel like you're trying to level up, again, don't blissful thing I've always advised is hang around people who are ahead of you in that area you want to improve. When you go to the gym, yes, you may not work out side by side with some of those extreme gym bros, but strive to be with them. Strive to get advice from them, because these guys will give you practical advice. Some advice may not work for your level, but guess what? Look for the ones who are a few steps ahead of you. For example, is don't go and meet like the super heavy lifters. Like if you're trying to if you're new, go for somebody who has a decent physique. And guess what? Because of they're like a few steps ahead of you, they will want to guide you. They want to tell you, oh, these things are useless. This is what works for me. And before you know it, that is even another way for you to start building a community for yourself. Not feeling lonely. That's a way of even making friends. There's a guy I was coaching recently. If you check my vlog, you will see him. And that's how he has been making friends in the gym, right? By asking for assistance. So I'll tell you something, as a man, never be too afraid. Drop your fucking ego. No one's coming to save you. When you go to the gym and you need help, fucking ask for the help. Then one other thing that could help you to save yourself is listening to motivational tips. Now, this particular video, I had two video titles in mind, right? Is one, nobody's coming to save you. The second video title I had was, the save yourself mentality would actually save you. Think about it. Anytime you tell yourself, save yourself, bro, guess what? At some point, you begin to put in effort into what? Saving yourself. Well, I can't save myself. It's like that idea of, oh, I was born with these genes. It's like, that even reminds me. When I was arguing with a medical doctor about this whole gene conversation, I said something. I said, if Usain Bolt has sex with the fastest female runner in this world, do you think their child will be able to run fast? He kept quiet. He said no. Why? He said, well, she will have to train. I said, that's the point. Is that our behaviors and lifestyle, they train our genes. This is why I tell people that one of our biggest problems as men today is misinformation. Okay, not men, but everybody is misinformation. Because one thing the Matrix does is intentionally misinform you in such a way that they make you feel helpless. They make you feel like a victim. So I tell you, when you are listening to motivational audio, trash out all those trap music. Listen to even motivational mixtapes, because bro, trust me, there's a way it levels up your mindset. And I'm currently learning how to fight. And I have this motivational tape I listen to that is of straight, mostly fighters, UFC fighters, NBA top athletes, Navy SEAL soldiers, ex-Navy SEALs. And you begin to wonder, this is the mindset these guys carry. And that is the mindset I personally am beginning to carry, right? That impossible is nothing. If you train hard, the chances of you failing is next to impossible if you train as hard as you can. Again, one last tip I'll give to you is, another tip I'll give to you is, have a community of brothers who themselves have saved themselves or are saving themselves. Because sometimes it's easy to get lost in your own voice. Because sometimes it's easy for you to slip back to victimhood. Again, things like depression happen, crazy events happen, but you need brothers who have the same mindset, who would remind you that, brother, I'm beside you, but you have to save yourself. They might offer solutions to you, which is very good, like I did to my friend yesterday. But guess what? He still has to implement it. His struggle was getting women, quite alright. And I'm like, bro, you claim you're short. Think about it. You are a fucking DJ. Do you know what being a DJ is? If you put on your social media pages that you are a DJ and you're going everywhere, even though it's free event, and you're playing around, you're giving good vibes, do you know how many women will come to you? Do you know how many women you would attract? But guess what? He never thought to that direction. Now, I'm not exactly here saying, I'm not even talk deep about it, but the whole point is, instead of you looking at what is wrong, look at what you can do. Right? Because of where his mind was. And this is, and again, it's easier for you. The irony is, the irony is sometimes I've seen myself, this is why you need this community of brotherhood, of brothers. Sometimes I see myself slacking in some mentality, but I have brothers to what hold me accountable, to remind me that, bro, you can't be caught slacking. You can't, no, you can't be caught. You can't be slacking. And I'll tell you the last tip is start now. The moment you catch a thought that makes you feel like a victim, kick it out. Start now. Start taking responsibility for yourself today. Start looking for how to make things, how to gamify everything so it looks possible for you to win. Start today. Start looking for a brotherhood today. Start surrounding yourself with mentors or people who are a few steps ahead of you, who are willing to teach you. Because, bro, that is one of the most powerful things. It's so powerful that Warren Buffett has been preaching this thing for decades. Warren Buffett did not become rich by him being smart. He still attributes his wealth to being an apprentice under the intelligence investor, is it Graham or something? But so brothers, all that means is I've just given you golden tips on how you can save yourself. And I remember when I was new to like self-improvement, the other day I was listening to Jim Rohn. He says, you cannot pay someone to do the push-ups for you. That statement blew my head because I was taking a walk in university campus. And yes, that's when I got new to like self-improvement because I had a shit ton of bad days in high school and stuff. So my university days, I began to take myself serious. But it was late in my university days. And I remember that day carefully. When he made that statement, I paused the audio. I paused. I went back to my room because I used to download audio from YouTube and then put it to my phone. And I was like, damn, you cannot pay someone to do the push-ups for you. And why it hits me hard is there are people who paid other people to write their exams for them to get into university. But mind you, again, it's fraud. Fraud is everywhere in my country. And then you can basically see them in the school, the way they act different. There are people who pay people to write exams in school. But when it comes to backing up or defending their assignments, they are so fucking useless. And it just made me realize that is how life is. There are things people will help you to do. There are things people cannot help you to do. That is why, that's something that made me realize that my father has limits on how much comfort he can bring to my life. Yet, I'm supposed to still endure my pain. I'm supposed to endure my suffering. So the whole point is, I've just given you tips on how you can basically save yourself. So you start from somewhere, start now. Start taking responsibilities for things that you do and things that you don't do. Take responsibilities for things that happen to you and things that you make happen to yourself. And taking that absolute responsibility is a game changer and will level you up in every single area of your life. My name is Tonore. I really, really want you to share this video with a brother who needs to save himself because, like I said, brothers out there need to save themselves. We are being told, we are being raised in a feminine manner, and yet we need the brotherhood to remove this conditioning from our heads. So please share this video. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. My name is Tonore, and I'm still on the mission to becoming a well-rounded man. So if you want to know how I'm becoming a well-rounded man, go ahead and check my vlogs. Talk to you soon, and then bye for now.